Hello, everybody. I just wanted to do some talking about common sense, logic, hypocrisy, and other various words to indicate awareness or maybe being aware of certain things. So I was listening to a podcast. Give I could link it right. I don't want to do all that. It's like Captain Tazaria or something like that. He looks like Exhibit X, and he's with this white guy with a backwards hat. I'll share the video I was just watching to my community page just as edification, so you guys can check it out if you want to. But the podcast is beginning, and they're talking about why they agree with each other. You know, I think we should respect all races and love everybody, and I don't think a conversation's bad. Blah 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 blah. I love the blacks and I love the whites. Blah 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 blah. Blah. So after they got done with all the virtue signaling, what happened was, and I'm gonna be honest, my art. I just started watching the video, so my art isn't so much with Captain Tazari or whatever his name is. He seems like a very logical, very intelligent man. But intelligence I don't know what intelligence means because somebody could be like intelligent with books. He is a very aware person. And a lot of times what I had to learn is what he's doing is he's on this podcast with this man. And this man and him are explaining why certain races should stick with their own race and certain people should stick with their own blah 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 and blah 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 blah. Now the man with the hat, backwards hat, he said he made up a point about adoptions. I don't remember which one brought the point up, but he was talking about how like it's weird, and the other man, Cesar, was like, yeah, it's almost like a fetish to adopt children of other races, like they're doing it for a reason. And he's like, those children have problems, like if they're white in all black school, or if they're black in all white school, and blah blah blah, and all sorts of stuff. And at that, after listening to him talk about that, it began to infuriate me because you're going to go after parents. You're going to go after people that are adopting children. And if it's not the right race of children, he said people that aren't adopting their own race are weird and they should want children that look like them, or else the child's going to be confused. That is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And this is why I continually tell people to try to be aware and not to ingest everything you hear. Because children aren't racist. They were talking about how children have no filters and they're going to go to school and be racist. Because by the time they're in school, they've already learned from their parents and everybody else. But when they're itty bitty children, you notice they don't care. Doesn't mean anything. It's another person I can interact with. Hi, person, talk, play, ooh, grab this, grab that, maybe hit each other. I don't know. But are they calling each other opposite? I'm sorry because I'm starting to take this new worldview that instead of getting mad at certain things, I'm going to start laughing profusely. And this isn't even a hysterical laugh. It's the type of laugh that deep within I know what people are doing and how silly they sound. So I'm not going to allow myself to get involved with that anymore. Now I know I'm not the perfect person and there's times I might get mad at certain things. But I want people to understand that here's something else. I'm going to ask a couple questions. And if you're watching me, you know, if you have difference of opinion, I tell everybody you don't like me, just change the channel, man. You can leave your comments, blah, 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 whatever. But I got a question. So this man who Captain Cesario was talking to, because there was a debate, and then he and this other man had a talk. He was talking to a Jewish man. And the Jewish man was even more wild than these two during the debate. So I got a question for y'all. So it used to be when the father spread the seed, that's if you were Jewish or not. I think that's how it goes, right? The father. So then I got a question for y'all. Has God failed? And when I ask that, I'm not talking about like in that Bible, God made a promise to flood the earth. And when he flooded the earth, did everything not die that he promised was going to die. Okay. After that, when God in the ancient past, I'm going to bring something up. When a nation conquered another nation, Did they spare the men? We can do some reading, because what I'm about to say is, this is why I don't like certain debates and talking points. You'll hear people all the time say, Elamech, you all are evil because y'all had to slay everything. Don't be silly. Every civilization was doing that shit. There's history and records of this. Entire civilizations wiped out and only the women kept and raped. I'm sorry if the truth hurts, but I'm trying to the best of my ability teach people something right now. So I'm going to give you an example. If the seed is spread through the man, then you're Jewish. Does God make mistakes? So you guys, in that Bible, God promised to wipe out all of Judea. Now, in order to do that, he would have to wipe out the men. But if he was going to have Jews continually living on, it would have to be spread through the woman, would it not? Interesting, right? So it was promised that all Jews would be exiled. But let's look at real truth, right? If you do Judean history on these records they kept because of Josephus, the first pope, I will call him Cephas, the only people that was allowed to live in Jerusalem were the sages of Yahweh. I know you guys don't know, I know a lot of people don't know anything about Yochanan and Yehohanan and all this stuff, but in ancient times, they weren't just letting men frolic through civilization and freak on their women. Any man that they let survive, they enslaved and castrated. You were not allowed to spread seed with the woman of that civilization. Or they murdered all the men, and the women were taken as wives. So the reason why they switched it and said that the women now pass the seed through Judaism is because the men were all slaughtered. Because if you don't agree with me, then you're calling your Lord God in the Bible a liar. That's what I do. I come with locks and fail safes. I'll give you another example. God created the heavens, earth, the universe, and everything in its contents. But continually, I hear different religions say God can't be a man. But if you go anywhere in science and tell them that God didn't create the heavens and earth, they tell you that God can do anything he wants. He, remember that, right? They say he. But then God is spirit. So how is God a he? There's something else very, very important I want to tell you all. By your own words are you condemned, and by your own words are you justified. These people wrote, whoever wrote the Bible, that they slaughtered entire nations and took all the men out and took women as wives. Which means by your own words, none of you nor no one in existence can be Jewish right now. Because those sages from Yahweh was not reproducing. After the temple takeover, and all the men were murdered, women taken as wives. Now, people will hear me say this, that's not true. There could be a seed somewhere. There's been exiles. Then God is a liar. Because God promised to disperse and destroy the nation of Israel and then build it back up. But the only way that's possible is through spirit. Because I am spirit and truth. Here's another one. I just heard on a Matan podcast. You probably don't know who Matan is. Some weird kid. I'll share the podcast too. I'll share that too in my community page. The man kept saying over and over and over that Jesus is God. But if you flip to John, where I tell y'all to stop listening to men preach and read for yourself, it says plain and clearly, don't cling to me, cling to the Father. I'm going to the Father's house. I'm creating something right now so that when you all follow after, you all have peace and rest and can build your own. Greater things you will do. Don't cling to me, cling to the Father. I can do nothing without the Father. So then what the preacher said was, it's all analytical. It's metaphorical at these certain spots. He said the Father don't sit on no throne. It's metaphorical. He told the man, you're so judgmental. And with every word, I couldn't believe it. A Christian calling somebody judgmental. If it's all metaphorical, why are y'all telling every fucking body they're going to burn in hell for all eternity? They pick and choose which parts that furthers their agenda. That Bible, not one time from Jesus says that he is white or blonde-haired or blue eyes. And every single fucking description at every point, Moses took his hand out his bosom, it was white now. He put it back, it was regular. Oh, there will be copper skin and bronze skin. What color is copper and bronze? What color is white? And then you put it back and it changed back. My skin was black upon me. That's the metaphor. But nowhere does it say he's white. He's white with blonde and blue eyes. Anything to further their agenda. Europeans, Americans are not conservative. A gay man named Renaud or something like that hated the Muslims. And so he started dancing in the streets with the LGBTQ, having marches and everything else. And then he created the Great Replacement Theory. A gay man created a sect of white supremacy. And then he was fighting the Muslims because Europeans, in order to be conservative, I said they had brothels and gay marches and parades and gay and making love and had the French Renaissance fighting the Catholics. Come to America, they're bucking backs. They don't follow the man, the Hebrew Israelite, because I'll tell you one thing, sometimes they follow after these laws and stuff and it makes me mad and I got to hear it. But then other times I hear them in the real world and they sound unbelievably logical. And it's that logic that I seek after. It's that truth, fighting real white supremacy, fighting real issues. He told that pastor, I forget what the pastor's name was. He's a famous one too. Over and over, he said, do you have a Christmas tree in your house? Yes. That Christmas tree is an idol. No, it's not. No, it's not. Is Jesus' birthday December 25th? No, it's not. So why do you celebrate Christmas? In honor of Jesus. You just said it's not his birthday. Well, it's not like we're honoring the tree. It's not, everything you do is an idol. You see that headband you're wearing? The headband's in the Bible. It's in the Old Testament. Are you double stitching? They're both the same. They're both cotton on top of cotton. Well, it's metaphorical. Bruh, y'all are fucking, the older I get, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this bullshit good side all the time anymore. I hate Christianity. Y'all are liars. I hate the European ideology of white supremacy. Y'all have stolen civilizations, cultures. Y'all keep saying y'all don't want no one else around and you, and y'all hate everybody else. But if you do that and go back to Europe, y'all will still be up there with the Vikings acting a nut before the Catholics colonized y'all first, then the Muslims. So then you go later down the line, y'all adopted Sharia. Why do you hate gay people? That's Sharia. Why do you want to stone people for being gay? Sharia. Why do you want to stick to your own and only, don't Muslims do that? Only Muslims are the chosen ones, but y'all can adopt in. Jews do that too. Y'all are adopting Sharia and don't even realize it. The mistreatment of women. Jesus is Latin for I'm a gracious pig. The only man they found crucified was a man which is in English, translates to John, and in other languages, Juan, Giovanni, and all these other names. And Ivan, in Russian, and many other names. Yan in Chinese. Where did the Buddhists come from? But before him, a Phoenician named Zoroaster who adopted all these African Egyptian practices. They sit here and make movies, The Ten Commandments, a white man, and an Eastern Asian man. Y'all know there was Middle Eastern people and Africans. Y'all are something else. And I just laugh anymore. That's all I can do. I can't get, because I could get, but then I become aware. These people are crazy. The most perfect judgment I can see in my eyes is allowing these supremacists, whatever, to come into heaven. And Jesus be blonde hair, blue eyes. And they come up and tell him all this stuff. And he agreeing with, you have those black, and after about all they rambling and the most, I want to hear it all. me come from behind a curtain and that Jesus figure turns into dust. Pew. A person just my color. And say, okay, you don't like people around you that are my color. You don't like people mixing and assimilating into your culture. You don't woo. Sorry, you can't come in here. I'm not the type that's going to burn you forever, but I want to teach you a lesson real quick. I'm going to send you to the time period of my choosing of my race. Poop! And after they come back, I want to hear their new nature. Maybe erase all the old shit and start them brand new as that new black person or that new Hindu or whatever, in whatever oppressed civilization time period. I go back. When I could make you white still and have you with the Vikings when the Catholics were doing y'all in. Every male from civilizations was being slaughtered. Y'all think that's a joke about every male firstborn with the Pharaoh? They was doing it back when the Hyksos invaded Egypt. Killing every boy. Moses did it. Every firstborn without the blood, which means every firstborn that's not of us. It's not hard to understand an algorithm. Super racism. Jesus did racism in the New Testament. Likened that woman to a dog and said even dogs need to eat. And he said, oh, I like your saying, not your people. Am I lying? After giving all them fucking scriptures about Samaritans. Because it was written by bigots that can't control themselves. Martin Luther wrote the German Bible. He stole it from William Tyndale, who was a fearing man, but got murdered by the Pope. I agree with every name you put on that list, John Core Books, but I have no ought against William Tyndale. The man was a poor, educated, loving man. Why do you think they hate the Jews so much in that German English Bible? Then King James and the printing press and all that other shit came out. And Protestants ran wild. Protestants gone wild. So much irony everywhere. Why do you think Nick Fuentes can't go too far right? Why do you think all these right-wingers keep going just enough right and then come back and say, I'm sorry. Why is that? That doesn't make sense to me. Why did Nick Fuentes say the right ain't just all making fun of people and being trolls and being evil and mean? Nigga, you was in the mix. Don't let these people get to y'all. But who am I? Do what you gonna do in life. Let them get to you. Keep going around saying, blacky only, whitey only. They're turning y'all into white supremacists. And they're doing it they're getting paid to do it in real time. But as I've told y'all, now I'm seeing conservative white people everywhere come and talk to black people. And they do the same thing the first 10 minutes. And the Hebrew Israelite, I might have seen some clown Hebrew Israelites before. But like I said, I'm astonished every time. Them brothers coming out smart when they're alone and talking intellect. I love y'all for exposing. But I hate y'all for going in the past and trying to resurrect this shit. Do not anger me. But who am I? I simply am who I am. That pastor told the Hebrew Israelite, nobody in that book claimed to be the great I am. None of them. Nigga, Moses did. What are you talking about? Why do you think Moses is all in their fucking heads and not the great I am? The great I am is bad conjugation. Speak fucking English. Because if I go around saying the great, talking bad English, you'll call it a box. So it's that which he is, or that which that is. Because nobody wants to use logic for some reason. Everybody wants to demonize, and nobody wants to fucking hold hands. Yes, some of y'all hands stank, and some of y'all don't use soap. But I will say this. Even in holding my breath on the inside, I will still try to show respect to the best of my ability. Because y'all got some foul fucking breath. Y'all ass stank. Y'all ass, all of you humans. And yet with your stinking fucking breath, you going, blip, 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 the chosen ones. The only thing y'all ass chose is how to fucking reek. There's no more Jews or God's a liar. Every man's a liar or God's a liar. Be not deceived. I'm not your prophets. I'm not your angel. I'm not your God. I am who I am. I wouldn't claim none of y'all foul ass fucking cultures for money. And yet I can kick it with each one of y'all until y'all get fucking disrespectful. Judea, Black Hebrew Israelia, Christianos, Islam and Judea, y'all have been marked. Y'all have been judged. Y'all are the fucking devil. Nothing y'all say will ever fucking make sense. And until every man break away and find his own way, his own spirituality without causing harm, then y'all gonna be lost in the fucking sauce, dipping chicken nuggets like the Holocaust over and over, because even if they don't get your flesh, I can get the spirit the best. That's why he says, don't fear them, fear who I am in sending thou to hell. But many people have no idea what that means because they're dead. And one thing to put themselves in somebody else's shoes. And so when it comes to a network, they are deaf. And think when I say I am, don't understand. Okay, I am he that hates pedophiles. I am he that hates I am he that hates sexualizers and rapists. I am he that hates murderers of the innocent. Now, how many people just agreed with what I motherfucking said? So I am large, am I not? I am he that doesn't have to move while the rest of the body makes moves. But I'm a patient man and can understand that, which is why I'm not tormented or bound when I go into resets. I am, poof, everything, now what? But I have not gone mad. I still am moving forward. Why? How? Because the spirit was placed as a child. And no matter what age, it was righteous. So fuck the Holy Ghost. Fuck Lord Jesus Christ. They'll verbally strangle you or physically harm you if you don't follow him. He's the Lord King God. Now go into any of their hospitals, psychologist's office, nursing offices, or any professional hospital or psychological setting where you'll have to go one day, or therapist, and tell them you hear the voice of God and he directs you after being fucking tormented too. And watch what they do to you. I've said this before when people debate, a lot of times they don't even pay attention to what they're saying. They just say wildly anything. Then they, with a straight fucking face, tell people to follow that book or else, the word of God, contradicting every fucking thing they saying. A bunch of dogs on the outside of my mansion whom cannot get in. But when I tell them to go back, I'll say, oh, you could come up for a comedy show every once in a while. You can make us laugh up here with them jokes. But not. You're not rejoicing with me. Because all of humanity is my family. People who adopt children of other races are fucking sick. I know I'm going to have to clean this up. You know what? I'm not going to get that ignorant. I was going to spit on my fucking floor. People who adopt children of other races are sick. Fuck you. Your mama was sick when she didn't swallow you. Irony. Wednesday came up to my cerebellum and whispered something to me. I'm just being funny. Candace Owens, which I thought was ironic, before, sued a college for racism using the NAACP. But unbeknownst to me, thanks to the guy in that hat who was talking weirdly about abortion, I was able to learn something. Research who are the CEOs and the board of the NAACP and who gave them legal help, and how prominent those members are on the NAACP when I thought it was for colored people. Because I'm so confused right now. Are Jewish people a race? Ashkenaz Sephardic? The reason I ask that is because it's called the National Association for Colored People. What makes it even more ironic, who did Candace Owens work for years, demonizing, and who owned that organization? Insert stupid comment here. What I'm telling y'all is, I don't hate Jews. I don't hate niggas. I don't hate you crackers. I hate you fucking demons. Y'all should watch a movie called Inglourious Bastards, because I ain't been able to find my dad, and I'm pretty mad. But don't think this physical, because my father is actual. Lest a supremacist of another hue make who I am come after you. The more I am mocked, the less I am in shock. Because after a while, when I go shopping, I seem to always see that stock.